in a country where you no longer necessarily have the rights you were born with, isn't it nice when some states decide you should have those rights? And so let's acknowledge the states that have done the right thing. There were a lot of reproductive rights focused ballot measures, and they passed in the vast majority of cases in which they were put forward. And so Maryland, Missouri, Arizona, Colorado, New York, Montana, Nevada all had successes in passing their abortion-related ballot measures. Now, it didn't succeed everywhere. It failed in Florida. Well, it failed in Florida. The majority of voters supported it in Florida, but DeSantis decided that no, the majority is not enough. You only got 57%. What's that, supposed to be a victory in a democracy or something? No. Again, as I've been saying, when Trump says, we gave it to the states, it's up to the people now, that's a vicious lie and you know it. Because Republicans in red states, where they know that the people don't support their position on abortion, just decide, no, we're just gonna raise the threshold. Doesn't matter if you have majority support, we're gonna raise it to whatever it needs to be that we win even though there's less of us. To throw around a term that they'll understand, this is DEI for pro-lifers, where there's not enough of them to actually win, but let's let them win automatically anyway. And so it should really be at least 8 out of 10, but still, that's a lot of states where people get not necessarily the same level of rights that they had prior to the death of Roe v. Wade, but at least something. In those states, women can kind of be like full people, and isn't that nice? Sharon, what do you think?
At this point, take what we can get, the few crumbs that they're allowing us, that's what we should take. I saw too, I got excited and my eyes lit up when I saw that 57% because it hovered there before it was called. And then I got angry. You mean the majority is not the majority when they say it's not the majority? Yeah. So at this point, you decide if you want to have a baby in certain states. At least one of our commentators said to me when I was filling in on a show on TYT that she would not be doing so in Texas. She just could not see that. And I understand why. And then there's the element, and I know this is slightly off topic, but I'm hearing all over the place that this is the fault of progressives. Kamala didn't get elected because of progressives. The progressives must go in the Democratic Party. Somehow, it's all flipped upside down. So, yeah.
Yeah, look, well, that's a constant coming of elections. Everybody was right all along. Do you know that? Everybody, even though they all disagree, they were all right. And if only we had listened to everybody, then we'd be in a very different situation. By the way, progressives just get blamed for literally everything, which is amazing considering that we've never had any power. We're also still responsible for everything bad that's ever happened. So let's talk about another ballot measure that did not pass. Legalizing recreational marijuana in Florida failed because only 56% of the state supported it. So again, and by the way, look, the idea that conservatives in Florida are for freedom or whatever has been a farce for a long time. Ban a lot of books for a pro-freedom party, but the idea that 44% of the state gets to decide if you can roll up some plant leaves and smoke them, if you are not free to do that, you're not free to do anything necessarily. Maybe temporarily you'll have some freedoms until a minority of the state decides you should have them taken away. But this is about the most explicitly anti-freedom thing I can believe. Like, you're not allowed to smoke marijuana, okay? You know what you can do? You can buy a gallon of vodka and you can drink it and drink it and drink it and drink it until you literally die. You will die. Totally legal, totally cool. A blunt, no. What do you think? You have freedom over what happens to your own body? It's never made any sense to me. It didn't even win over the people, not in any sort of real sense. If we lived in a democracy, more people have my position. But again, Florida is not a free place. It simply isn't. It's DEI for teetotalers, I guess, in Florida. Isn't it fun to have outsized influence? Isn't it fun that Republicans always do in our system? But anyway, Let's move on to a couple of other things. Missouri did raise the minimum wage, nearly 58% supporting it, so that's good. Let's see, Arizona allowing lower wages for tipped workers. No was the overwhelming favorite there. That is certainly exciting. California raising the minimum wage. No is at 52%. That is, well, look, California takes a long time to finalize their vote, and it's still very close. But that's really depressing. We know how much people are struggling, and just F you to the people struggling the most. Isn't that fun? Alaska increasing the minimum wage and requiring sick leave. Yes, is at 56.5%. It is wild that these ballot measures can move in such different directions in different places. By the way, that raising the minimum wage in California, it's not a wild minimum. It's a little bit. It's a little bit over the course of like 5 years. It should have overwhelmingly won, but unfortunately it didn't. So when it comes to these like more populist ballot measures, some of them succeeded, Sharon, some of them didn't. It's a mixed bag, a little bit of silver lining there. What do you think?
I think that there are certain people who we talk about as being part of the electorate, the voting population, who aren't there because these issues are not really for and about them. Minimum wages, but if you can't put food on the table and you don't have time to study the for and against, or in places like Arizona, where my father told me there was a 2-page ballot and like 79 questions, some of them trick questions, as you know, is this yes or no? What do I vote here? So I think it's interesting. I do want to give members of the public, the voting electorate, some credit for doing the right thing. Minimum wage in California, you're right, should not be that close at all. I mean, I can't even think of renting an apartment in California from what I hear, or filling up my gas tank there. So just to live, breathe, have food, be a full person, it's a struggle. And I don't understand why these things are just kind of squeaking by, if at all.
Yeah, I'm just going to mention, just since we're talking about good news, Tammy Baldwin did win the Senate race. That's good. Any seat is important for eventually retaking it, so that is good news. In the aftermath, I might have to talk about the New York Times front page right now, because I will never get over how utterly dishonest the media is in the words they choose to use to describe things and how they slant things. It is madness to me. Thanks for watching our video. Did you know that you can support our show by becoming a subscriber? Just click the subscribe button and also ring the bell so that you get notifications when we're live or when we post new content.